The Painted Bird by Jerzy Kosiński. Yes, I've done poor research about how his name should be pronounced. Anyways, if you have heard about The Painted Bird, then most likely you have seen the film, which is, to a certain degree, a misery porn. The Painted Bird tells a story about a young gypsy boy, a Jew to boot, because during the Second World War, being a Jew and a gypsy, well, that's a killer combination, quite literally. No pun intended, but yes. He is basically left abandoned even, to fend for himself and travel from village to village in order to survive and find his place in this world. At least that's what it seemed to me whilst reading a book. It felt a bit more mild than the movie. Yes, I will compare it to the film because the film is supposed to follow the book very closely, and in my opinion it did. The film is actually very well done, but I'm not here to discuss the movie. Go watch it if you like, but you should know that reading this book is also a good idea because it's a very eloquent read. It's, again, it reminds me of a diary that you go through, and it leaves you horrified, but at the same time, let me be clear here, as horrifying as it is, it is difficult to suspend your disbelief at some points. The book was claimed to be an autobiography, naturally raises a lot of eyebrows. Later, the author claims that this story is completely fictional. Well, that is not a good advertising in my opinion. The horrors of war naturally are, well, as weird as it sounds, horrifying, and any depiction of child abuse, specifically during the war period, well, it is nasty. And reading about it from the perspective of a child is even more nasty. However, after reading through so many cases of child abuse and first-hand accounts, I did feel like it is very, very stretched. So it was difficult, let me be honest. To me as a reader, it was difficult to believe everything that's written there. I felt for the kid, I felt sorry for him, and I was horrified with him, but I always, how to describe it? There was always a lingering feeling of disbelief, like, what if it's just a fantasy of a kid? I doubt that anyone who read this book, this particular book, or seen this particular film, could say this about the book. I've never heard anyone say it, but here I am. And I'll tell you, it feels different, it feels a bit fake, just a wee bit fake, and here is where the conflict rises. It's difficult to believe a child telling these tales. However, again, we know about the cases of child abuse, not just on this channel, but all over the world in history, and yeah, things like this, things described in this book, yes, they could have happened. Perhaps they did to a certain degree, maybe not to this child in particular, not to the author, as he later claimed, but something similar definitely happened. Come on, it's war. All sorts of shit goes down. We follow our main character through different villages. We witness some folk healing, witchcraft things, you know. We witness the Nazis, we witness the Soviets, we witness different circumstances when the boy was actually treated well, or mistreated. Well, unfortunately, mostly mistreated. But yeah, we witness, there is an interesting, even religion is touched. Come on, it's like just a kid, a small kid, a little wee boy, travels around, and wherever he arrives, some sort of shit happens. Literally. That's how I could describe this book. And just when you might think that, well, the worst is over, now the lad can, you know, take a break, actually, and live a little, as a kid should, bam, again, some sort of shit happens. There is rape, there is bestiality in this book, a new subject for this channel, hello. Horrible shit, disgusting shit. To me, not as descriptive as I would like, as weird as that sounds. Yeah, give me more fucked up shit. I can read it, and I can look at it through my prism of psychiatric studies. I don't care, I'm not afraid. I've seen a Serbian film 3 times, I don't give a shit. Now that makes me sound hardcore. The title, Painted Bird, comes from a scene in a book where the professional bird breeder or bird catcher, who I didn't quite understand who the guy was. Really, I didn't fixate on that, but the guy who took the little lad in for a bit, he actually treated him alright, and he painted a bird white, if I'm not mistaken, or was it multiple colours even? The point is that he paints the bird and releases it amongst, releases the bird into the flock of its own, and the flock doesn't accept the bird because it's painted, because it looks different. And I could see the message, right? I could see what the author wanted to say, and yeah, the lessons that humanity is supposed to learn. Again, the parallel with the little Jewish/Gypsy lad, that way that he is different, which makes others look upon him and, you know, suspect him of various crimes. You know, if you're a gypsy, then you're automatically a bastard, you know, shit like that. And if you are Jewish, well, we all know what happened to those people during the Second World War. Not a fun book, definitely not a good experience. I hated it, albeit I was curious while reading it, and if it had been a bit more believable, you know, with the violence toned down a bit, maybe I would, yeah, be truly terrified after reading this book. But I wasn't. Yeah, it was shocking, but at the same time it wasn't as impactful to me personally. All that aside, it does not mean that the book isn't disturbing. I would like to praise the author actually for being as blunt as he could have been, most likely. Yeah, if you wanted raw, then you got raw, and he did it well in that regard. Again, maybe it's just me perhaps, but I really had to suspend my disbelief. It was a bit difficult in that regard. At points it feels like slight propaganda. I don't mean to say that the author really meant it to be a propaganda, no, but at times it feels like it. So yes, that's the Painted Bird for you. I'm not going to do any deep dives, I never do, but in this case it's difficult for me to put it on a scale and say that, wow, yeah, that was disturbing, like A Child Called It, or it was very deep and interesting, like we need to talk about Kevin, for example, because yeah, it teaches you a lot, it's psychological. No, this one wasn't psychological, it was just a vernissage of potentially possible bullshit and horrible atrocities that happened during the World War II. Thanks a lot for watching. If you like disturbing books, then you're welcome to subscribe, join my channel. Give this video a boost in a form of an erect thumb, as usual, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.